Hey, what's up, guys? Well, I've been pretty much neglecting this channel for some time, and it's not really like I meant to. Just this winter break has sort of restored my much-needed energy that that was drained from the semester. So I apologize. That and I really didn't do much, to be honest, which is kind of strange. I don't know. I just usually like to do stuff, and I was kind of a sloth this entire winter break. I really needed it. So I'm sorry that I've been neglecting the channel, and it's something I do want to continue. So so I just want to let you know that, because I haven't posted a video in a while. But as some of you might know, and if you don't know, yesterday, the 20th, is I don't like to use the word anniversary, but it's the 4-year anniversary since my grandfather's passing, and I intended to sit down and make a video, but instead, what I did is I recorded something for my video game channel, and I think it encompasses everything that I wanted to say, and it'd be very hard for me to repeat it. I don't know, with the same sort of energy and heart, I guess. That, well, maybe it wouldn't, I don't know. But basically, I just talk about my grandfather. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a picture up of my grandfather. I'm just gonna let the thing play. It's probably like 7 minutes or something like that. If you want to listen to it, please do. If you've already heard it, you know, I'd appreciate you guys listening to it again. I've listened to it a couple of times, and it's still, like, every time it still gets to me, and it just goes to show you that no matter how long it's been since you've had a relative pass away, the wound is still there, and it can be reopened, and you can have emotions, you know, churn up and everything, but the wound heals a lot quicker than it did before, which is nice to know. And kind of on that note, I wanted, on the 19th, I thought, you know what, it's about time that I go see my grandfather's you know, grave site. It's like it's in a veteran cemetery up in Riverside, and it's like, I guess, like a hole, you know, with his name on the front, and that's where his ashes are kept, or entombed, I guess. And I thought I wanted to take a look at that. I thought I wanted to go up there, and I really did. And then the 20th came, and I lost that confidence, that courage to go. You know, I called my mom, and it's like, hey, I can't go. I chickened out, you know. And I think what it is I have to go by myself. I don't know, I have that, like, gut feeling that I've got to go by myself, and maybe it's like a fear that I'll just totally break down, you know. I'm not sure. I can envision the place in my head. You know, I've never been there, but I can kind of envision what it might look like. I've been to a cemetery before. I've seen this stuff before. But you just never know what you're going to feel when you get there, and a part of me is concerned that it'll tear a gaping hole in that wound that I was just talking about, and that I might go through the same sort of depression that I went through when I was living up in Santa Barbara. It was, I mean, I'd never felt anything like it before, and it was hard to get over. So anyways, this is far longer than I expected it to be, but I'm gonna go ahead and play the video now, or at least the audio of it, and you know, just sort of, I don't know, if you've lost a relative, maybe sit back and think about them. If you haven't lost anybody before, I guess, I don't know, you're blessed at the moment. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm, oh God, like I don't know, like a glass half empty kind of guy, but, you know, it'll happen eventually. It's sort of the reality of life, and sooner or later it happens, and sooner or later you're gonna have to deal with it, and it's not fun, and it gets easier, but it never completely ends. So anyways, I really hope to be making videos again, and hopefully I'll make a couple soon. So you guys, you know, have a nice night, and hopefully I'll talk to you again tomorrow or soon. What I want to do right now is talk about something that's very, very personal to me, very near and dear to my heart. And today is January 20th, and it has been now 4 years since my grandfather passed away. And I find it very fitting that I'm doing this to a video, a racing video, sort of fortuitous because he's one of the inspirations that I had, because of his love of cars, and he was a big drag racer when he was younger. He was a guy who just loved cars. He was a mechanic for all of his life. He worked on wheel alignments and a general technician as far as mechanics concerned. And so I just want to talk about my grandfather just really quick. As much as I can squeeze into, almost 8 minutes of video. Now, my grandfather is one of the, so I don't want to call him the last of the World War II generation, but he was drafted in 1946, and excuse me, 1945, and he served until 1946. If you were a draftee, you served for a year, and then you came home. And he was drafted, I think it was like mid-year 1945. By the time he was out of basic training, Germany had surrendered, and by the time his unit was getting ready to deploy to the Pacific, Japan surrendered in September. And so coincidentally, or as a result, he did not serve in the war. So he was actually stationed, he said, Korea for about a year. He was a truck driver in the 24th Corps of the 8th Army, and something he was very proud of. Now, when he came home, he did what all World War II veterans did, and they went to school, and so he had training as a truck driver from the Army and beforehand, and so he decided to go to school, and he got his education in general automotive technician, sort of a general technician, just a mechanic basically, but his specialty was wheel alignment. And he had his own shop, growing up. When my mom was growing up, he had his own shop here in Oceanside. And eventually that was bought out by the city of Oceanside to build the transit center that's there now. And then he worked from the time I was a kid up until the time he retired in, I guess, his late 60s at this Dan's Mobile on Oceanside on Coast Highway, formerly known as Hill Street. Now, one thing about my grandfather that I always remember is he had these beautiful old cars. He had a 33 three-window coupe. It was a Ford. Had a rumble seat in the back. We used to love to sit in the rumble seat and, cruising down the road. It was a loud car. It was a fast car for a 33. And then later on in life, he picked up this 41 Ford. It's a super deluxe convertible. It's a cool 3 on the tree speed. And that's a car that still sits in the garage, my lower garage here. And it's not really in the best condition right now. It's not running as well as it should. It needs a tune-up, and it needs an oil change. And it's got some leaky gas lines. So anyways, it's just not really in running shape right now. Yeah, he used to go to old car shows in Fallbrook, and he won many awards with his old cars. So it was something of a matter of pride with my family. We'd go do that every summer. It was a lot of fun. He was a guy who he supported everything that we did as kids. He loved watching us play sports. He would watch us play baseball, my older brother and my younger brother and I. And when my younger brother was playing football, he went to every single one of my younger brother's football games. He never missed a game. And throughout all 4 years in high school, and I thought that was pretty cool. And so it was really hard on us when he got sick. We'd found out that he had cancer, and he had colon cancer, and he went through chemotherapy, and that was a really hard thing to watch. I watched him pretty much, wither away from the chemotherapy. A man who was strong. He used to shake our hands and pretty much damn near break our hands. And he would always let us punch his gut because he said he was a man of steel. And so we could punch as hard as we wanted to on his gut, and he'd flex his abs, and we'd punch as hard as we could, and it would never hurt him. And so he was the man of steel. And so to watch the man of steel turn into the man who fell asleep on the couch from just because he walked from the car into the house was a change.
but he pulled through. He didn't pass away from colon cancer. He actually survived colon cancer, but he made a vow to my mom and my aunt, I believe, who's a nurse. He said that if he got cancer again, he would not go through chemotherapy because it completely wiped him out. You know, the days he came back from chemotherapy, he was just wiped out. And he would do chemotherapy once a week, and at the end of the week, he felt strong again, stronger. But then that following Monday, he would be back in for chemotherapy, and it'd wipe him out. And he would say, he goes, you know, the only way they can make you better is to kill you. And it's pretty much a true statement. You really need to kill the body to bring it back to life, kill the cancer to bring the person back to life. But what he did die of is cancer eventually. He had cancer that had spread to his lungs, and eventually it spread to both lungs, even though we thought about operating. He declined. He didn't want to do that. And when he was really sick, I was living up in Santa Barbara, and I didn't get a chance to see him as much as I wanted to, but I'd come down every weekend for the better part of about a month. And to watch him wither away like that is it's a sight that I'll never forget. It's a sight that I wish that I never saw, but feel fortunate that I got a chance to spend that last bit of time with him. My younger brother, who was in the Navy at the time, he didn't get to see my grandfather. He called him, I guess, I don't know, every day or so, and but he didn't get to see him. And so I envy my younger brother to a certain extent, because he didn't have to go through the pain and suffering that we did to watch my grandfather wither away like that. And it was really, for me, it was a rough patch. I failed a couple of classes, you know, but what really pulled me out of this depression that I found myself in was coaching baseball. I was coaching high school baseball at the time, and so that really brought me out of it, and it was a good thing that I was doing what I was doing. It was the kids, and it was just getting outside and it was doing all this stuff. But basically, the reason why I just want to make this video is just to say that I miss you, Grandpa, and you've been a very big inspiration in my life. And if this is one way I can honor you, this is the way I can do it. You know, I think about you a lot, and every year it gets a little easier, but it never is. It never ends. So anyways, guys, that's this video.